Bawari Adeboye ìkànnù redeem ni.
Àwọn olórí wọ́n ní the
ìjó ò lè tóbi tó
wọ́n ní the box top on the table of the head sir.
Ṣé rí ìjó ò lè tóbi tó bá mu kí olórí kó máa pàṣẹ mọ́ olójú tí ó máa dá sí. Àwọn.
Welcome to the moment of truth. We are back on Iluyomade and Adeboye's case. I have two prophets that share their thoughts in regard to the death of Wigwe, Prophet Reuben and Prophet Gbolahan. They speak in Yoruba, but I will do my best to translate what they were saying. Both of them, they actually said the same thing about Iluyomade and the death of Wigwe. Stay tuned. Prophet Reuben said, Redeem RCCG is just too big and Adeboye has no control and he cannot be giving authority or asking people what to do at this stage. They also believe that both Adeboye and RCCG cannot control Iluyomade because Iluyomade CG controls her husband and control the church. And what she actually did about the death of Wigwe was wrong. And people point finger, she might even be one of the users. One of them from Wigwe camp that actually handed him over to the enemy. That was the meaning of what they were saying.
Aláàánú yín kú.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ sà.
Aláàánú ẹni ó ti kú báyìí.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ sà.
Nígbà aláàánú kú tí wọ́n dẹ̀ ti dájọ́ birthday tí wọ́n bá ti yẹ wọ́n ń sòkú aláàánú wọn tó kú ni. Òkú náà ń ṣe.
Kì í ṣe birthday.
Birthday kọ́ bó lẹ́sẹ̀ pé birthday. Olóore wọn ti kú. Wọ́n lè mọ́ bàwẹ́ ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ pàdé mọ́ láyé.
Ifá bàbá.
The prophet said Shiju was doing funeral of Wigwe and it's very deep what she was doing. It was not a birthday because Wigwe was one of their helpers and he died and his body was still in the morgue and she was doing all these things. He said it was funeral. Credit to Asabe Africa. He speaks in Yoruba and said Wigwe parents said Iluyomade must not come near their children's funeral.
10,000
How about Wigwe?
No, because ló mú iṣẹ́ ìrànṣẹ́ ara tó mú iṣẹ́ ìrànṣẹ́ wọn fọ́n kiri tán fi ń dájọ́ ilẹ̀ sí ẹgbẹ́ oríta runu sẹ́yìn tó wọ́n bá wà ẹ̀ mọ̀ ra ní káàkiri oríta ni ara wọn nìkan ti lọ́m̀bẹ ẹni tí ó dùn jù l'Adébóyè.
Onígbọ̀wọ́ ńlá tó jẹ́ bí sponsor tó jẹ́ bí church member.
The prophet lamented and he said Wigwe was more than 1,000,000 person, 1,000 person, and now he died. Also, he was the bedrock and he was the backbone of their success. Now he's gone. They are going to suffer for it, for what happened to him. And Adeboye will be pained. Adeboye will be affected. So he was not pleased for what Iluyomade did, and every fingers pointed at her and her husband. Asabe Africa was just explaining to Pastor Reuben, Prophet Reuben, what had happened to Wigwe, the role he played in David's Trinity Church, House of David, and RCCG, his own role, how he paid the choir salaries, how he was so good, so nice to Iluyomades and all that. And he was asking that, is it right for someone like that to die and Iluyomade will be partying here and there? So the prophet said two things happened. And what happened is deep. And then he also put someone on the call that even after the death of Wigwe, Access Bank are still stealing people's money. They stole this old woman's money, 85,000 naira. Yeah, prophet said Wigwe death is saddening all the Christians in the whole world, saddening his family, and saddening everybody that knew him, because he was a glory and it ended like that with wife, with his son, his first son, and his friends as well. So their deaths affected the whole Nigeria and the whole Africa. I mean, saddened them. But for people that are close to them to be dancing and kind of rejoicing, it baffles everybody. It just baffles everybody. It's one of the things that I've been talking about. And it's like people were like, life have to move on. They have to move on. No. This man was even suggesting that they can postpone the birthday throughout this year and next year, even that there be no any birthday at all from their side because of what had happened to Wigwe. He said Wigwe was more than, is it 1 million or 1,000 person? Only one person, no. So that shows you how Nigerian rate Wigwe and everything. They don't know him. Like myself, I never heard of him before his demise, but it was just a painful thing that happens to him. And people that knows him behave like this. So it raises a lot of concerns. They said, then the prophet asked a question that, was Iluyomade a Christian? Even the husband plus Iluyomade, they are not Christians. And Wigwe himself knows that that church is not a church of God. It's not a church that value the word of God and value people. So the church just erected for only yo-yo Christians that have money. So it's just a pure business church. That's exactly what he said. So the woman, she acted in a disobedience way. They want to go the way Mrs. Adeboye dresses and all that, and she just a disobedient person that does her own thing and nobody can challenge her. She's not emulating the lifestyle of Mrs. Adeboye, dressing or anything. She was just doing her own thing. So basically, she's not born again. They don't have Christ in them. That's the message Prophet Reuben actually. So that's the message Prophet Reuben actually putting out to us. That's the way I can just summarize it. Sorry for my non-speaking Yoruba audience. I try my best to summarize what he was saying, but what he was just saying was that Iluyomade was not doing any birthday. They were doing funeral of Wigwe, and Iluyomade could have been one of them that handed Wigwe over to the enemy, because all his enemies were seen at the party. The king of Ogbomoso, Ganda was there. What was it called? This big man in Lagos, people that own Lagos, Okoya was there, and Toni was dancing. So for people that actually understand the deep things, how the spiritual thing works, they will know. And I said it in one of my videos that it will have been very difficult for the enemy to take him out like this if one person in his own caucus said no. But unfortunately, there was a loophole from his own caucus, and people are now thinking that loophole could have been the Iluyomades because of their behaviors. And they are even saying that husband might not even know anything about it. She might just single-handedly undo everything, because if they don't want the birthday to go ahead, they wouldn't have been able to do it. I mean, the big people at the party, they have the power to stop the birthday, but they did not. They still go ahead with the birthday, and everybody was dancing, and they even invited the worldly musicians. So he was saying, no, spiritually, this is what happened. Something deep happened in the spirit world. They were not doing birthday, it was a funeral. Now, let's move on to Pastor Prophet Gbolahan. And let me read one of the comments of my people here. A church cannot be more spiritual than the spiritual content of the pastor. The spiritual content is what they display in the birthday party they held lavishly. That is the spiritual content of the church, is the reason the pastor could not see anything wrong in their behaviors. So these two prophets actually said the same thing in a different way, and they don't even know each other. It was in a different interview by Asabe as well. Please stay tuned and listen to what Gbolahan was saying. He also speaks in Yoruba. I will try my best to interpret. It's not easy to interpret. All my Yoruba people will actually enjoy it better because they can hear directly from them. But I will try to summarize. But the same thing is what both of them are saying. Gbolahan too is saying that Iluyomade is worldly. They know what they are doing. They are not partying. They know what happened to that guy, to Wigwe. What happened to him is very deep, considering the people at the party. The people at the party are the people from other caucus. You know, it's like Eye court and the Aye court fighting each other. So the big courts fight each other as well. So this is what is going on. It's like, okay, the thing has happened. Let's use this. They said they just use Iluyomade to just do that thing. And that thing they did, they must do it. And that thing, it is not birthday. And that's why the husband was not pleased about it. But because he cannot control Iluyomade, even Pastor Gbolahan said he was watching Iluyomade one day on TV, and he could see that, and the Spirit of God was telling him that the man is not happy and is being tormented in his own house. And he said, City of David won, Iluyomade won. I mean, CG Iluyomade. CG Iluyomade controls everything. She controls the husband and she controls the church. So that's it. Stay tuned and hear it. So for those of you that hears Yoruba, you hear it directly from him. But for those of you that does not speak Yoruba, that is just what he said. I just summarize it.
About Wigwe, is it spiritual or physical death? Then the second leg is that show that nínú ìjọ ekeni tí ó jẹ́ olùdámọ̀ràn tó jẹ́ somebody died in the church, and the wife of the pastor, a Christian, because Boka second First Timothy 3:1-6 wọ́n ẹni tó fẹ́ jẹ́ ìránṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run ó láwọn qualities tó fẹ́ jẹ́ olùṣọ́ àgùntàn bí ìyàwó ẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe ọmọ ẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ moderate fúnra ẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ wà moderate, but níbí bàyà rí pé ìyàwó olùṣọ́ ẹ̀ olórin ayé bí àwọn Wizkid bí Flavour lọ́wọ́ àbẹ̀ wọ́n tún kọrin fún.
Pastor Gbolahan, considering the fact that Wigwe's senior brother died in a motor accident tragically like this, so he was saying that it is possible that there's a revenge in the family. Maybe someone did something wrong in the family, and it's the revenge that is now happening or occurring to them, because it is not the will of God for a man to die with his wife and his first son in a ghastly accident like this. So in this way anyway. So that's what he's saying. Say you may not agree with him, but spiritually, that is what happened. And if we look at the life of Wigwe's dad, he was a Freemason. And that's what we are saying about the foundational problems. And him growing up, so join his own cults and doing his own things and all that. And he further said that his carcass and all that questionable, and Iluyomade not a Christian, she's too worldly to be a Christian, their container is too corrupt. So, and like I said in many of my videos, Pastor Gbolahan too saying the same thing, that what they did has spiritual meaning and it was deep. He cannot even say it because they might ask us to go and bring a proof. But spiritually, in the spirit world, Iluyomade and the other group that is fighting his rivals, Wigwe rivals and all that, knows what is going on. And what happened to him is very deep. And Iluyomade partake. She play a role. But because the husband is too weak to control her, he just let everything goes like that.
Lórí bó ṣe rówó ẹ̀ ẹ̀jà ṣùgbọ́n tá a bá wá ikú ẹ̀ lọ àṣírí ìjìnlẹ̀ kan wà tí ò sí ènìyàn ẹlẹ́ran ara kankan tó lè rí díẹ̀ àṣírí ni ẹ̀jẹ̀ fìtì ẹ̀ lẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀.
You heard that, so the prophet say it was a deep secret what happens to Wigwe, and no one will even be able to decode it. Only the people that were involved, the perpetrators and orchestrators. And you see the way Dangote was crying, Adeboye was crying, everyone in the Wigwe carcass were crying because it was a big blow to them. It was a big hit to them. And they were asking questions, how did it happen? Like I said it before and I will keep saying it. It takes one in your carcass to give you out. So, all fingers now. We were even thinking, some people were saying it might be Adeboye and all that. But the way the prophets are decoding it now, it was from the church. And I told you, church had people over. Church work with your enemies, so they work with your household enemy. If they ask them to go and bring you, they will hand you over. I've witnessed it. I've experienced it. It nearly happened to me. Were it not for the mercy of God. And that's why I'm doing this video. That's why I'm using these two prophets. Because they are actually speaking my mind. And other people that understand what is going on in the spirit world and in this world. This world is evil. You have to know God for yourself. Don't trust anybody. I don't even think that Wigwe will know that Iluyomade have a deep connection with Toni Elumelu. I don't think he has the knowledge. Or maybe he just ignored it that they cannot do me evil because of the way he was lavishing money on them. No, life is not like that. So that's why a witch sacrifice the best of their children. The best, the one that's looking after them, that built a house for them. The glory, their glory. That's why the witch sacrifice their own children. It does not work like that. So you have to know your God for yourself. You cannot rely on anybody for your own protection. So the summary of what Pastor Gbolahan said and Pastor Reuben said was that they both point fingers to that direction. That party was a funeral. That's the meaning of everything they said.
Kí profile mi má bá wà affected, kí kinní kan má bá ṣe, ó má bá jò ló ń ṣe, ó manage ni.
Ẹni ẹlẹ́ni. So ìgbà tí ìyàwó ẹ̀ jó àgbà bọ́lá gan lójú stage pẹ̀lú Toni Elumelu, ó wà láàrin èrò ó kàn wo ìyàwó ẹ̀ ní ó kàn ṣàgbádá báyìí ó ṣàgbádá yẹn báyìí.
ẹ wá já lọ síbi birthday tán ṣe èyí tó wà lẹ́yìn ẹ̀fà ó jèjì lọ àṣírí láyé o bàbá ṣé ń gbọ́ mi sà kí ni mo sọ àṣírí láyé birthday yẹn ó ti wà ní tọ́ọ̀ bá fẹ́ ṣe kì í ṣe pé òun kọ́ ló wà ní di birthday síjú àmì
bẹ́ẹ̀ni sà
woman yẹn
Dr. Pastor
òun kọ́ ló wà ní di birthday yẹn
Dr. Pastor Mrs. Iluyomade
Toni Iluyomade àmì birthday náà
bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n bẹ̀ chairman
tí ẹnìyẹn bá sọ fún pé ṣé chairman náà fi ṣe tí Toni Iluyomade bá sọ fún pé ọ̀rẹ́ birthday yẹn má ṣe mo bẹ̀ yẹn má ṣe
ọ̀rẹ́ wa ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ kú
ṣé Toni Iluyomade ló mọ kò mọ Wigwe ni.
pàdé ọ̀rẹ́ ni wọ́n they are all in the backers association.
ọkìnrin kan ọkọ ya ṣé wọn lè bá sọ̀rọ̀ ní ṣe wọ́n lọ bẹ̀.
bẹ́ẹ̀ sà even wọ́n bá oyè láwòye Gandhi.
ṣé Gandhi ò lè sọ fún pé kí ló wáá ṣe ń bẹ̀ tó so secret kan wà tẹ́lẹ̀ understand wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe é kì í sọ̀rọ̀ tiẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn deep ju ta lè sọ lórí afẹ́fẹ́ lọ ó dẹ̀ deep ju ta lè mọ sọ káàkiri ẹ lè sọ ṣùgbọ́n ó deep etiquette ìjìnlẹ̀ ni kì í ṣe ọwọ́ tí ọ̀hún bá fẹ́ kó ṣe kò ní ṣe sàn.
tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ kó ṣe.
wọ́n lè ti mú déètì kí ọkùnrin yẹn tó kú o ẹgẹ́ ti sì kọ́ ti mú déètì bẹ́ẹ̀dẹ̀ yẹn kí ọkùnrin yẹn kó tó kí ni kó tó kú ṣùgbọ́n tó bá yẹ kò ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ kò dẹ̀ ní kó tó ó lè ṣe ní ààrẹ mi ìfẹ́ dákọ̀ àbí kí ni mi ò.
My Yoruba people, you heard his final thoughts. Shiju was used to do that as a birthday. It wasn't a birthday. Gandhi can ask him not to do it. Toni can ask her not to do it. And the BB people, Okoya, can ask her not to do it. But they know what they were doing. He said it was deep. We cannot explain it on the air. And it's a mystery. I see you on my next video. Bye for now.